HOH, House of Hardcore, 8.
Yes.
8 of these things you've done, and each one seems to get better and better. It's coming up this weekend, the 7th, at, of course, ECW, or whatever you want to call it, the 2300 Arena. They got the cute little name there in Philly, PA. The matches look amazing. The guys look amazing. I mean, this is going to be a hell of an event. Dave, how about this? At the top of the card, we talked about some dream matches from last weekend. How about this one? The Bucks versus Aries and Roode. So Aries and Roode are tagging again. The Bucks, we know, of course, Bullet Club, and they've been really, really just at the top of their game as of late. How about them pairing up in a tag team match?
Yeah, this is, again, this is the 8th one, Doug, but yet every time it outdoes the last show. And not only some amazing matches, but our good friend Thea Trinidad is going to be on the show. And I mean, talking about a talent that is underutilized. I'm very glad that Tommy realizes that talent, and she'll be appearing on the show. And there's also some special guests as well. If you're a hardcore wrestling fan, an old-time wrestling fan, some great guests as well that are going to be there for autograph signings.
Yeah, I know, Tommy. Like in the fine print, Magnum TA is going to be there.
Yeah, think about that. The show's so loaded that Magnum TA is like listed at the bottom.
That's amazing.
And that's what's great about these shows. You think ECW, of course, but whether you're a fan of what's going on right now, or like me, a child of the 80s NWA fan, you get to meet Magnum TA. I mean, you have to buy tickets to this.
Yeah, I was a big Magnum TA fan. Him and Nikita Koloff, and he suffered a career-ending injury in a car accident, but. Someone said, "Hey, Magnum's in the area. Can I bring him to your show?" And I was like, "No, of course. I want to meet him. I want to book Tully Blanchard and Nikita Koloff now. Let them go out there and wrestle each other. I'll do whatever." But yeah, I mean, the show is, and again, like I said, no politics, no BS, just wrestling. You think about that match. Both Aries and Roode are under contract with Impact Wrestling TNA, and the Young Bucks just won the New Japan Junior Tag Team Champions. Yep. So that's interpromotional stuff right there. The titles aren't being defended, which would have been cool, but that's the politics part. But I'm not playing that politics. I'm not going to say this is that. So the last show I was actually I lost Ethan Carter. I was supposed to wrestle him. Bobby Roode, who's my friend, he said, "Hey, fly me in. I'll take care of it." And I was actually, because, my relationship with, TNA, like, yeah, you want to make it a title match? Make it a title match, and so.
Amazing.
I could have been the TNA champion, but I can't believe it that I lost a match. Who was the book? I gotta talk to the promoter on this one.
Dumb booker.
Stupid promoter. How dare he make me lose?
Awesome.
That would be great if I got into an argument with myself in the mirror. No, bro, I think my character would win. No, your character's got to lose. No.
We've seen wrestlers do that before, so it's not like the bit hasn't been done. And you got EY this time.
Yep, me and EY. Last time, he turned to this heinous villain. And I went out there and cut a little promo in the Manhattan Center, and I got pile driven for it. And what most people didn't see, if you could pull it up, I know I tweeted about it. On the moment of impact, my ass and pants were so constricted, I split my pants on the moment of impact, right there in the Manhattan Center. They almost saw the Tommy Dreamers hanging out. So I was... And the best is, they have cameras everywhere, and, they have this whole new incentive where there's cameras everywhere behind the scenes, and Bobby Roode's going, get him some help, and I'm going, for God's sake, someone get me a seamstress, because my pants, I almost had, like, Shawn Michaels' assless chaps, like, going right down the side. But then we had a really, really good match in the UK, in Scotland. He bit a nice hole in the side of my face, and so we're going to tear it up.
And you are, and this is, again, a must-see show. And doing this and doing both sides, being in the ring and actually wrestling, being that innovator outside, too, as far as being a booker, which do you prefer doing?
I love it both. It's kind of all that I've known from my days of ECW. And, to credit Paul Heyman, not that he needs any more credit because, the guy's always been great. But, Paul, most people don't realize he used to also go out there and manage. Yep. Back in the day of the original ECW, he'd go out there, he wouldn't really take bumps. He was never a big bumper, but he would contribute to he would manage Sabu, he would manage guys, and until it got too much for him. And that's kind of what I'm doing. I love wrestling, and I love being able to perform. I know I'm at the tail end of my career. I'm 44 years old. I hope I can go as long as Terry Funk, but I'm kind of a realist and don't know if I can. So it's a way of helping my own promotion with, putting it on my own back and going out there and, bust my tail for it. And I'm also blessed to have so many friends that are willing to help, and, they love the business just as I do. And so take it from there.
I mean, you're right about putting it on your back. And I think it's an underrated and fascinating part of the business in people, the very few people that are in your shoes, where it's your promotion. You got a hand to play in every facet of it, including the booking and I'm sure timing and everything, all those little things, the little details that go into making a show great and making a show not only come to life, but you can't have things that kind of go too long and plod. You need to space everything out perfectly. Plus, you're in a match, all right? So that's going to take some energy out of you and zap you at the show, because obviously there's a ton of pre-planning that goes in, but at the show, you're on the card, you got so many other things going on. Where's the head at? How difficult is it to get everything done? And what is, if you'd have to be honest about it, what is always priority number one for you at a live event?
One, going into a live event that every ticket is sold. For me, honestly, I've been doing this for so long in the sense of helping run the original ECW and then being in legit wars where I'd come back from that curtain and be like shaking because I was almost in a real fight. Wasn't that I was really, punching guys or anything, but so physically and, drained.
Sure.
So again, I've been doing that since I was 20-something in ECW, since 1995. And it's all that I know. Even, ECW One Night Stand 2005, I wrote that show. And I'm holding the production meeting. I have Vince McMahon, all the agents. I wrote the show. I wrestled in the main event. I agented every match. Jeez. I had other agents there to help, but it was just, and Vince was like, this is Tommy's show. Tommy's doing whatever he wants, blah, blah, blah. As I'm having the meeting, the fire marshal came because I had we were doing the powerbomb me through a table. And we had to do a run through. So like, Tommy, we need you at the ring because the fire marshal's only gonna be there for a little bit. So in my suit, I was like, hang on, meeting. I run downstairs. Bubba power bombs me through a flaming table before and he just put like a little bit. He totally worked the fire marshal. He put like 2 strips, table it up. I went through it. Boom. And I was like, all right, I got to run back upstairs. I got Vince McMahon waiting for me. And so again, that's guys, this is all I've known. And, I'll probably be more worried when I'm not in the ring because then I will be so micromanaging but I don't want to do that. I entrust the guys. I look at wrestling from a sports mindset. I have a great team. I have a great team. No one is in there for themselves. Everybody is there for the show. And if someone does it, then I go back and watch and I tell them, or if you do it again, then you're just not there. And, I was comparing this, to the other show I was just talking on. The world is in uproar in Philadelphia about the trade of LaShawn McCoy to, Buffalo. And it's like, well, number one, McCoy had an argument or didn't like the coach. The coach used to teach that other guy, used to play for him in Oregon. That's that simple. And, if that was wrestling, everybody like, oh, politics, all this, blah, blah, blah. The good thing for the NFL is that there are other places that you can go. But if you don't like, the system that you're in, or True. If you don't like, you have to go out and, you got to do what your coach sometimes says because it's really his ass on the line, just like this is my ass on the line. And you may have a different opinion. I will sit there and at least I will listen to your opinion. That was the beauty of us, what we had in ECW. We got to listen to, if Paul told us, hey, I want you to do this. No, I want to do that. I mean, seriously, I remember Tommy Dreamer versus Raven when Raven was going to leave. They were building it, everyone knew Raven was leaving. I actually wanted to put Raven over. And Paul's like, I cannot have you lose. You have to finally win. But we're sitting there for 20 minutes arguing about, and it was for the betterment of the show, not the betterment of the guy. And I'm blessed to have people in my corner that think that way.
First of all, I would love to have been in that meeting when you went back and you were actually probably smoking still walking into that meeting. But, Tommy, you said something that's really interesting because, of course, with, House of Hardcore, it's about what goes on in the ring. But when you watch other shows now, and especially the WWE, and I was trying to explain this to my brother Don, who's not a wrestling fan, that, fans don't really care about what's actually happening on their TV. It's thinking about, all right, how did they get to this point? The politics that are happening backstage. How, Daniel Bryan's super over, but, they're not putting him in the main event spot. But Roman Reigns, boy, I don't get it. The fans are booing him, but yet they're giving him this push. It seems that a lot of with wrestling, it's not about what goes on in the ring. It's everything that's happening backstage.
Yeah, well, the biggest, to me, the biggest thing that's going to change professional wrestling is social media. And I mean, we're in the midst of it, and it's only going to get worse. You think about it, one of me, and not my pet peeves, but why I like when wrestlers are leaving wrestling, and they don't get a chance to say goodbye. The last show that I had, it was the last ever appearance of Beulah McGillicuddy, my wife. And she was like, hey, I started there. I want to end my career there. Great. She never really she got the Dudleys broke her neck. She never got a chance to say goodbye. And back in the day, or even back when I left WWE, people were like, oh, you're retired, you're not wrestling anymore. It's like, no, I'm still out there. I don't work for them. Now you see, Samoa Joe leaves and it's trending. Everybody knows about it. Anything that happens due to social media, people pick up on it. And so now people realize, hey, there's a lot too, because back in the day, it used to be like, oh, Dusty Rhodes is not with the NWA anymore. He's wearing polka dots and he's dancing in, WWE. Now we're a lot smarter to, and why would you ever hide from that or try to lie to your audience? You can't. And you also, to me, you cannot tell your fans, let us know your opinion. It was for the longest time, tout us your ideas, tout us this. You cannot say, hey, tweet us here, tweet us that. Tell us what you want to hear, and then don't go about it. Yeah. You can't do that. It's, you cannot say that. It's like, you know what? I don't like your shirt. I don't like your shirt. You finally go and change your shirt. And I just like, oh, well, I just don't like you. You can't be that way anymore. So, I mean, social media has changed. You think of podcasts, you think of anything people say. If I said something so super controversial, TMZ could pick up on it, in a heartbeat. And, then it's out there. And then it's, damage control.
The interesting thing about what you're saying is, and I totally agree with you. I personally, I would take it a step further. I say, and I love our fans too, like at Busted Open Radio. I'm on the feed. I'm on, on the Facebook. So you have to be a part of it. You have to connect with the fan base, and you have a tremendous one, and House of Hardcore is so successful because of it. And as you go down that trend, you look at social, and it almost becomes a downfall to what you're trying to do, because there's nothing disguised now. Like Dave was saying, it's almost like, tell me about what's happening behind the scenes instead of what I should be focusing on, which is right in front of me.
It's crazy.
But
correct.
Let's take it a step further, though. The biggest focus group, so to speak, that let's just keep on WWE, because I'm interested to get your take on, say, Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns and who should be in the main event. But the focus group are the people that are sitting in the stands as you're sitting there doing a show, as Vince, Triple H, Stephanie, all the powers that be are backstage watching it unfold. Their focus group is right in front of them as they travel around the country. What boggles my mind is that, okay, you have this guy that's been there and done that for now, let's call it a good couple of years, but really has been just ultra super hot in Daniel Bryan for the past year. Let's call it. You have the guy. He comes back from injury. He's ready to go. You could tell it took him just a couple of weeks, and he's got his legs back under him. He's flying around like crazy. And then you have the future, or at least the WWE's perceived future, and they're willing to almost roll the dice and try to create the future, try to make it happen, versus going with something that could be, to me, epic in Daniel Bryan and Brock Lesnar. They go away from that. They put Roman Reigns in the main event. From a booking standpoint, from an overall money company standpoint, are they doing the right thing? Are we missing something as the hardcore fan?
I don't want to say as the hardcore fan. To me, you have to then check. You have the easiest barometer to check is your box offices. When you have this guy on top, how are your shows? Are they selling out as opposed to you have this person on top? I've used the Young Bucks a lot on my shows. You know why? Because I've had a sellout. If my show doesn't sell out, then I have to change stuff around. For looking at it from a management point, again, from a sports perspective, remember when Peyton Manning leaves the Colts? Oh, well, he had neck surgery, he had all that stuff. if I'm looking at Vince McMahon, or if I'm looking at, hey, Daniel Bryan, he got hurt. Don't know if he's going to be able to come back. He has the year that, Peyton Manning had. Oh, he's great. Peyton Manning almost brings him to the Super Bowl. Now what are they saying now? Well, maybe he's getting too old. That back and forth will happen all the time. And as owner of a company, you have to kind of think that way. Is Daniel Bryan, if I have the title on Daniel Bryan, will his neck just pop? Will he take a bad bump? So I could see both sides. But for me personally, I like Roman Reigns. I'm a big fan of his work. I thought that last pay-per-view that they had, was it Fastlane?
Yeah.
Daniel Bryan and himself had an excellent match. Really, really helped show that Roman Reigns isn't, a one-dimensional wrestler. He's popular, blah, blah, blah. But I then look in the audience. What do I want? I like that interaction of everyone doing yes, yes, yes. I would run Daniel Bryan till I couldn't run him no more. And then it's, you look at somebody like Edge. Edge was on top of the world. Hey, guess what? He can't wrestle anymore. Is he bitter about it? No, he had a great career. Edge went out on his sword. He went out at WrestleMania. They said, you take one more bad bump, you are a cripple. Okay, Daniel Bryan isn't at that point, and it all worked out for Edge. You could put the title up on the line, whatever. But if you have a long-term plan, I think it helps out. I don't think, me personally, I don't think they should have split up the Shield so soon. I think they could have ran with that, just like I don't think they should have split up the Wyatts so soon. But for me, it's not my company. I don't have to worry about that. But for the sake of the wrestling fan, when you have everyone, that Royal Rumble was a definitive, we're not accepting who you're telling us. If he was a heel, it would have been great because you had everyone booing him. If that was me, I would have made the call and said, clothesline The Rock.
Yeah.
And you don't know if they could have cheered or booed. But to me, you got to look at your business. And to me, if you're so pissed off, if you're a pissed off Eagles fan because they traded LaShawn McCoy, hand in your season tickets. Are you not? Then you're not going to watch them play. You got to hope for there's going to be change. That's how I kind of look at wrestling. Hope for that there's going to be change. And again with the Royal Rumble, I felt there were 4 other guys, possibly 5, that could have won that match and gone on to that the fans would have at least accepted. But wrestling, just like most stuff, wrestling isn't just based upon your in-ring, and it should be, because wrestling is also entertainment. It's if LaShawn McCoy sucked, everyone would have been like, man, good riddance.
Yeah.
But because he's so good, they're really, really pissed about him. So,
but how do you turn it? Like, I'll say a direct quote from my daughter, who's 11, was watching Raw with me, and Roman Reigns cut a promo, and he kind of stammered a little bit, which he's been doing lately when he's on the mic on Raw. And my daughter was like, I really like Roman Reigns. I feel bad he has a stuttering problem. and it's almost like, oh my God, this is the guy they're getting behind. And an 11-year-old is saying that. How do you turn it? Because I'm sure it's affecting him, because I'm sure he wasn't.
Yeah, there's pressure, man.
There's pressure. But how do you turn it now if you're a company? Because you've decided to go with Roman Reigns. He's booked in the main event against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 31. You mentioned that crowd in Philly. You could have that same type of crowd at WrestleMania, if not worse.
100%. To me, I look at it, I want the most, but again, the business is changing. You can't really care about pay-per-view buy rates anymore, because it's all part of a network. You want network subscribers. To me, it's a great deal, $9.99. You get to watch pay-per-views, all that stuff. But
ECW pay-per-views.
the business is changing. If pay-per-views were the driving force of my company's income, then I need to put the top person who's going to sell the most pay-per-views for me. That I don't think is the main event that there would do that, because the fans will be pissed. I don't think the best part, they've had Paul Heyman help sprinkle a little bit of gusto into that match. I think it'll be a decent match, but the fans also like pretty much Brock Lesnar's this machine. Is this machine going to kill Roman Reigns? You can go that way, but again, I think the fans could care less if Brock Lesnar, and you don't want that moment of, hey, Roman Reigns wins the title, and everyone's like, eh. To me, if you're so pissed, don't go. I look at my show, like I said, I look at my show and there's one ticket empty. Hey, if WrestleMania is half full, then you got to blame your main event. You know, to me, there was a lot of drawing things to WrestleMania. It was WrestleMania, the streak. Now a lot of those things are ending. And a lot of the guys who were part-time players, you know, the Undertakers, Triple H's, blah, 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 they're older. The Shawn Michaels, they're not part of it. So, you know, you do need guys who can help draw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brock Lesnar was, you know, and is a draw. Hopefully, I would have liked to have seen Daniel Bryan, Brock Lesnar. I think that's a cool match. But again, who knows?
Ironically, and we agree with you in terms of the part-timers, Taker likely will be on the card. At least it seems like they're headed that way. Sting, who is the ultimate part-timer right now, is on the card. And Triple H, obviously, is not a part-timer, but he's certainly a part-time wrestler. And you go back to Brock for a second. I'm just wondering if you're in that position, and now we know that a contract is at hand. We know that the stakes are incredibly high because you're right. They need to have every seat filled. They need to have a successful event. They want to make a ton of money. Is Brock even worth the time right now post WrestleMania? Is it time to let him go? Considering everything that's happened, beating the streak, you know, winning the championship, not defending for 4 months, and every time he's on TV, the guy is epic, and we all fall back in love with Brock, and we're like, oh my God, this guy, like you said, he's a machine. At the same time, he's really holding the WWE up from pushing forward and kind of executing a whole lot of things, in our opinion. Would you re-sign Brock? Would you make a concerted effort to get him back in the fold?
Brock is he's a box office attraction. You know, he truly is. If it's the guy can go to UFC if he wants and help draw, you know, there. So yeah, you got to. My biggest thing when I have someone as strong as the Brock and as strong as a personality as Brock, who's going to ever beat him? That's really got to be your call, you know. And I don't think they have anyone to that level. And you can't make your part-timers your most biggest attractions, because then who's going to beat him unless you have like a Mike Tyson, Buster Douglas scenario. But that will be hard.
But as an old school wrestling fan, doesn't it bother you? Because I know it bothered me that your champion's not on the card for 4 months. For 4 months, your championship's not being defended.
Yeah, but you can't. As a wrestling fan, yes, but you can't get mad at the company. You have to get. I'll give you even a better example. Bubba and Devon used to make less money than Joel Gertner and ECW.
Oh my God!
At one point. And Bubba and Devon be beating the crap out of each other, bleeding. And Joel would go out there. But Paul saw a lot in Joel Gertner, and Bubba and Devon would give Joel Gertner some crap about it. And I would say, don't give him crap about it. Give management crap about it, because he's the one who signed him to that. You know, would you like to have, I don't think the World Heavyweight Champion should be, the title should be defended every single show. I think it loses its luster. But if you build to it, in my company, I don't even have a world title. You know why? Because I don't have television yet. And I only have had, as great as my company has been moving forward, I've only had 8 shows. And if I get TV, my main focus will be towards what it should be, the heavyweight title. So, you have to take everything, and I don't think most people do. There's 2 sides to every coin, and you need to get both sides from a management perspective and, a business perspective as well as the talent. If they're willing to sign him for that, then, hey, God bless them. I wish I could get his money and wrestle. I'd do that in a heartbeat. Brock, I'll fight you for real in UFC. Sign me up, Dana White.
I like it. Oh, there you go.
I'll fight CM Punk for real.
Now
too.
You'll beat up CM Punk.
And he's my friend. I'll fight Brock for real on UFC or WrestleMania. We were just talking about the WrestleMania thing with Sting and Triple H. I tweeted about it. They're talking about who left a company 14 years ago. Hello, throw my ass in there in a 3-way. Let's get ECW involved. I stayed till the end. Sting, that match is 14 years too late.
And now you're really
but the problem, Tommy, you're not going to be on TV enough. We know you won't go on Raw, and you won't make appearances on SmackDown. Your demands are too rough.
I know. Feed me catering and coffee. I'm good.
Oh my God, so much to talk to with Tommy Dreamer right here. House of Hardcore coming up this weekend. I can't wait for it. The Saturday, March 7th, at the, I always forget the name of the arena now. The 2300 Arena.
The former ECW Arena.
Just
right up the block
ECW
from Tony
Arena.
Luke's.
There it is.
Used to have a sandwich named after me. I'm so fat.
Used to?
Yeah, I think they took it down. I haven't been there in a while.
Well, that's
You look
ridiculous.
good, by the way. I don't know why you keep making fat jokes. You look
I'm
good.
the fattest I've ever been. I went and I was on Scotland and I saw it. Man, it's hard. I hurt my knee wrestling, and I like to do cardio. I'm 44 years old. I'm 283 pounds. I'm the fattest I've ever been.
You wear it well.
I dress myself in black. If I could paint my skin black, I would. But thank you.
Oh, my God. We love Tommy Dreamer, obviously. We're lucky enough to have him for the duration of the show here.
Well, we're going to take some callers.
We got a full bank of callers. That's where we're going right after this.
ECW style. Start like taking callers, cutting promos on them. You guys could be like Bubba and Devon. We'll just start insulting them. And,
Speaking of Bubba.
I was thinking about getting Joe Gertner, but that's fine.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, we obviously loved his Royal Rumble appearance. He must have gotten a kick out of that.
He did. I was very, very happy for him.
Yeah.
He, and again,
he got a great ovation, by the way. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Giving people what they want. And I even told him after, I said, that was the greatest situation you could have possibly been in, except for not having Devon. And though Ron Killings played a great stunt double for him.
It's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
It was great, but, talk about listening to your audience, not because they're my friends and they can still go in the ring. Philly was demanding for Devon, so I'm bringing it to them. And to me, how if you're WWE, you bring in Bubba, which Bubba has stood the test of time as his own wrestling entity. But if you're going nostalgia, you're going that. Devon should have been right there, and you could have had him do all that stuff. It would have been phenomenal.
Absolutely. It would have been tough in that place with the Rumble, because you're right. We were expecting both of them, but as the way the Rumble was set up,
Yep.
it would be difficult to do. But you talk about what an appearance by Bubba. What a blow to TNA. I mean, that was the guy that was really holding he was the glue of that company, and to lose him, I'm sure that pissed off a lot of fans, and they probably lost some viewers.
Yeah, well, again, that's business. And, to me, going back to the Royal Rumble, what an amazing moment. And I live for those moments, especially as a wrestling fan, when you would have had the Wyatts and the Dudleys square off in Philadelphia. That would have been an amazing moment. And with Bubba leaving, TNA, he's his own man. Contracts. There's two sides to every story.
Sure.
And, it's some guys, it's, hey, I'd love to be here, but, it's about the money. And he's happy in his life. And if he doesn't have to afford to go out there and wrestle for anybody, he doesn't have to.
Tommy Dreamer, House of Hardcore 8 coming up on the 7th. That will continue to be discussed. Your calls will be taken, 866-522-2846. It's busted open on a Wednesday, a little ECW invasion style. Tommy's just coming in. He's just taking the calls. We're basically, Dave and I are going to sit back.
I'm NWO in this show. We're taking over.
We're back after this.